All right, Lovey.
Yes, baby.
What is today?
Today is Good Friday.
Today is Good Friday.
Yes. Let's recap. So Wednesday and Thursday we didn't put out a video about Holy Week. Wednesday, nothing happened. They literally, Jesus and his disciples hung out in the town of Bethany all day. They never went to Jerusalem. Didn't have any kind of experiences. It is reported somewhere that may have been the day that Judas betrayed Jesus for the 30 pieces of silver, but there's a lot of debate with scholars as to whether or not it happened on Wednesday or if it happened on Tuesday. Thursday is called Maundy Thursday, and this is when Jesus told two of the disciples to go prepare the Passover meal. And this is also when Jesus instituted the Last Supper, or the communion rites that you see happening in the churches a lot. If you've seen the Da Vinci Code and that big painting of Jesus with all of his disciples, that's a depiction of the Last Supper. And during this time, Jesus told his disciples of his death. He washed their feet as kind of like a symbolism of how you're supposed to love one another. And he also instituted communion, which this is my body broken for you. This is my blood shed for you. Eat and drink these in remembrance of me.
So this is when in the church we take bread and wine, or bread and grape juice?
Yes, communion. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then this is also the day that Jesus and his disciples went to the Garden of Gethsemane. And this is when Jesus cried out to his Father, if there's any other way, take this cup from me, but not my will, your will be done. And it says that Jesus was praying so hard and was so overwhelmed by the weight of what he knew he was about to do that he actually was sweating blood during this time. And he asked the disciples, stay awake while I pray. They kept falling asleep. And then Judas showed up with the Sanhedrin and pretty much told them, the person that I go up to and greet and kiss is Jesus. And when he did that, they seized him and they arrested Jesus on that day.
On Thursday.
On Thursday, yeah.
Okay, so today, though,
So today
is Good Friday.
Is Good Friday.
Why is it so good?
So it is good in a weird way.
Right.
It's good because the sin penalty has been paid. Jesus died on the cross today.
Today was his crucifixion.
Yes. So Jesus was tried. They kept trying to find false witnesses against him, and nobody could come and say anything against him. Two people came forward and said, this man said that he can destroy the temple and build it back up in 3 days. And then the Pharisees, I believe it was one of the Pharisees, asked him if he was the Son of Man, and he said, you said it, not me, pretty much. And then they said that he was blaspheming, he was being blasphemous against God. And they said, what other witness do we need but that? And a bunch of other things happened at Caiaphas' house, I think is how it's pronounced. I'm horrible with that. But anyways, he was tried, convicted under false trial, pretty much, and a quote-unquote illegal trial, a trial by the public, that he should be crucified. And Caesar approved of it. Well, Caesar didn't. He said, I find no charge in this man. Do whatever it is that you guys choose to do with him. And they chose death on a Roman cross, death by crucifixion.
So when did this, what time of day did this start happening?
So they said before pretty much 9 a.m. Before 9 a.m., Jesus was tried, convicted, mocked, beaten, carried his own cross to Calvary, while it was crowned with a crown of thorns. So he was bloody. His back was bloody and shredded from being beaten. He was starved. Jesus was just completely beaten beyond recognition, and still had to carry his own cross up to Calvary, and then was nailed to that cross. And one of the most powerful things, one of the many powerful things that Jesus said this day, was as the Roman soldiers were nailing him to the cross, He was like, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. Talk about love, man.
Right.
Love for the people so much that literally the people that were murdering him, he was asking his Father to forgive them.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so from there to about 3 p.m., Jesus hung out on this cross. And he was not in good shape. And by 9 o'clock, or by 3 p.m., he was like, Father, I commit my spirit over to you. And he said, it is finished. Died. The ground rumbled and shook. The veil in the temple tore. All kinds of things. And then by 6 p.m., Nicodemus, who was a Pharisee, one of the religious leaders, but secretly believed that Jesus Christ was the Messiah. Nicodemus and a man by the name of Joseph of Arimathea was allowed to take him down off of the cross after he died, clean his body, wrap him, and put him in a tomb to be buried. And at this point, the disciples just scattered.
Okay.
And that's in a nutshell. There's so much stuff that happened on Thursday and Friday. It's hard to capture it all without just going and reading the scriptures.
Right.
You know, Matthew, Mark, Luke gives really good depictions of what happened. If you've ever seen the movie Passion of Christ, it gives a really, really good depiction that's pretty scripturally accurate of what happened to Jesus when he was captured, tried, beaten, crucified, death. Like, it's pretty good. And it's Good Friday also because we know our King will be risen on Sunday.
That's right. 2 more days.
2 more days.